Hello, Liv.
Hello, Kate.
So you're our dramaturge.
Yes.
So, have you had any dramaturge experience prior to the Crucible?
Yes, so I dramaturged for our theater production class here at Arlington High School when we did Little Women last year. And I love history, I love researching, so it was really exciting when I learned that I was going to be able to dramaturge for this show.
That's wonderful. So, I'm noticing that you tend to dramaturge for historical shows.
Yes.
So, what are common themes that you've noticed when researching these shows?
Well, so common themes in the Crucible that we're doing right now. Obviously, it's the mass hysteria and the witchcraft. This was all based on real events, the Salem witch trials of 1692. And you could have been accused of witchcraft for a lot of different reasons. So what we think, looking back on it now, is it was all a power grab, a land grab, and also a way to kind of get rid of people in the community that weren't seen as productive or were seen as different.
So, how can we relate that to the current political climate of today? Are you noticing any parallels?
Yes, so things can get messy in history, when you blame the problems of the group on the individual. So, history is a cycle that's constantly repeating itself. So, when you blame the problems of the system on one certain group of people, then we can start getting big problems, which I think we can see clearly in our society today.
Well, history can get messy, and you ever hear somebody say it doesn't repeat itself but often rhymes? So with the Crucible, when we look at it, it wasn't written historically accurate. Arthur Miller definitely took his liberties when writing the show. So as dramaturge, what are some challenges that you face when trying to be respectful towards the people who were killed and keeping the show as historically accurate as possible?
So I like this question. Obviously, when Arthur Miller set out to write The Crucible in 1953, he was using the historical events of the Salem witch trials to get his point across of the communism witch trials that were happening in America at the time. So when he was writing it really through the view of, this is how I want my story told. And we can see that in how the story kind of flows. So my biggest challenge with my job is just communicating to the actors how they can further what they're doing in a way that works historically. So when I work with Abigail Williams, who the character is 17, 18 years old, in history she's 12.
Yes.
So it's hard to kind of get the look back and still be respectful to these were real people that we have records of, but still allow the show to be performed as intended in the 50s.
That's really fascinating, Liv. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Hayden. You are our president of Admiral Players. How exciting. Tell me about the individual responsibilities you need to maintain as the president.
Yeah, so the president of Admiral Players has a few key responsibilities, one of which is acting as a person for people of the club and members of the club to come to if they have questions about possibly a rehearsal or even questions about future opportunities that they would like to see the club develop. And that's really the main role of the president.
That's wonderful, Hayden. Can you tell me how this contrasts from the communal responsibilities you guys have as officers?
Yeah, so the Admiral Players officers have a lot of responsibilities that they cover to help this club run and run successfully. We do a lot as a group of officers, most of which is developing different ideas for outreach to the middle schools and younger schools, as well as different theater opportunities that we will be expressing through different programs throughout the year, as well as opportunities in financing and fundraising for the club through our production meetings and parent meetings. So that's pretty much our communal responsibilities as officers.
That's fantastic, though. Being able to do such significant work definitely means you've had to come a really long way. Can you tell us about what sparked your passion for acting?
Yeah, so I started acting in 6th grade, 2020, kind of a little bit of a wild year. And my first experience in wanting to start acting was I was a member of the LaGrange Middle School choir, and I really loved choir. And our choir teacher was the same teacher that was our director
You
for
don't
our school
say.
musicals, yes, as many of the time it is. So I wanted to try something new and try acting, so I figured 6th grade, why not? It's a new school, let's give it a go. And I loved it.
So was this your first show, or?
So this was my first show, but I don't really call it my first show because it was COVID and there were some weird circumstances. So
Hello, Hannah.
Hi.
Congratulations on playing Elizabeth Proctor.
Thank you.
Can you tell me about some of the things that are exciting about playing this role?
What excites me about Elizabeth is I feel that she's a really relatable character to both myself and the audience because she just portrays the struggles of forgiveness and love and truthfulness.
And with Elizabeth being such a relatable role for you, how do you get into character? Are there any techniques you use?
I really enjoy script analysis, and not just within reading my own lines, but reading other people's lines and how they speak about Elizabeth to really help me understand why people feel the way that they do about her and why she is the way she is. And I also feel it's very important to think back on who Elizabeth was and what has happened to her to make her feel the way that she does now.
Wonderful, Hannah. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Hi, Luke.
Hey.
Congratulations on your first Admiral Players show.
Thank you.
How do you feel about playing John Proctor?
It's great, honestly. It's really nice to kind of be in this community where everybody is just so welcoming instantly. It's really easy to kind of fit in with everybody else because there's other people that haven't done plays for the first time that have done plays but are still kind of like struggling, so it's nice to be able to fit in with everyone.
Exactly. Being a newcomer in Admiral Players and being a lead is so exciting, especially since it's senior year. So what are some of the hardships you've faced with playing such a pivotal role?
A lot of it's like time management, so between balancing the time with all the rehearsals and with like the schoolwork in senior year, but it's not really too bad. I'm able to manage it pretty well, and it's nice to kind of have the points here where it's easy to kind of like relax with everything. Like if there's any stressors from the day, I can just step in and do the rehearsal and everything works out.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Luke. So, Luke, Hannah, you guys have both taken acting classes all throughout high school, correct?
Yep.
So, how have you used them and how have they benefited you into becoming stronger actors?
I think for me, a lot of what I learned from the acting classes was script analysis, like what Hannah said before, where a lot of it's kind of easier to read the circumstances within the script. It's easier to kind of understand the motives of the characters, the way the characters should move around, the way the characters should speak, should act.
Something I really took away from those classes was we did a lot of monologue work and we did a show, and I feel within working on that, I was able to dive into my emotional side and portray that in my acting.
Being able to center your focus around analyzing the characters and how they fit into the script, really, like, it feels like putting together a puzzle almost, right?
Yeah.
So, when you think of puzzle pieces, John and Elizabeth, they're married, right? They're such opposites, but they're dual characters in a way. So, how would you guys analyze that and put that into the way you interpret them?
I think Elizabeth is very full of truth and honesty.
And then John isn't. He's the exact opposite.
Mhm.
So, and then even then, at the end of the play, they switch roles. So the way that they contrast each other is kind of the way they are almost similar, because then they assume each other's positions from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Good luck, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Bree.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Jinx. So, what have you been doing prior to theater? Like, what introduced you to theater almost?
So I had a background in 13 years of competitive dance. I've always just had a love for the stage. Did everything from tap to ballet to hip hop. So I had like a wide variety and a good spread out of just everything that I did.
Wait, that's so cool. I was a competitive dancer too. So, did that give you the incentive to begin researching hair and makeup for the stage? Because
Yes. So I am the chief of hair and makeup for Admiral Players, and just being in dance and watching other people progress into doing hair and makeup, it led me to want to do it a lot. I
So-
always
you are also the vice president of Admiral
Yes.
Players. Are you excited about that?
I am. I'm very excited. It's a really
Well, how do you help foster some of that joy for the people in Admiral Players, especially for the newcomers, the underclassmen?
Mhm.
What do you do in order to help them feel included?
So I came into Admiral Players my sophomore year, and I just at first I felt really secluded and didn't feel fit in. I didn't feel like I fit in at all, and then once I really got into Admiral Players, I was wow, this is so much fun. There's so many great people, so many just great activities I could be doing. So I wanted to be that person for other people, to make them feel secure and safe, to have someone to come and talk to do some new things for Admiral Players, new traditions, new and upcoming events. So I just wanted to be that person that made a change.
That's wonderful. Building community is an insanely important part of after-school curriculars, especially when it's something as time-consuming as
Yes.
theater.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much for coming on here, and have a good rest of your day. Good luck with your show, and yeah.
Thank you, Kate.